Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another Facerocker Podcast, brought to you this week by the delicious Sherry's Berries. More on that. We are joined today by Will Campos to my left.
Yo.
The indomitable John Carmen to my left.
Hi, guys.
Sharing a microphone. Just lean in a little bit, John.
Hi, guys.
And Des Dolly.
Hi, Mom.
Right. Does your mom listen to this?
Sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to watch our swears, guys.
No, my mom swears like a sailor.
Okay, all right then. Never mind.
Okay, then. Yeah. Cool.
Stuff happened.
Let's talk about Dez's cool mom. She's soup's cool.
This has been an eventful week.
Has it?
For the old company
It's
here.
been an avengeful week, Freddie.
Wow. My God. So we did. So last night we did the first of hopefully many company group activities where we all are like, let's go see Avengers. Let's go out to the theater and see it. There was
like
way
50 people.
Way more people than I thought there would be.
I think we
Like,
brought up 2-3 whole rows at the ArcLight.
It used to be a company screening at Rocket Jump would be like 6 people. That would.
Yeah, that was
there
what
was
it
a point
was.
at which
Yeah.
the company was that. It's
Yeah,
weird.
exactly. So it wasn't. And now it's like everybody is here. You know, it was like
Yeah.
it was like 30 people on the list at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we rolled pretty deep into that theater.
There were so many people that like we couldn't even all hang out with each other at once. You know?
Oh yeah, everyone was
Yeah.
hanging out in subgroups. Yeah.
Got broken up into
Got
cliques.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little clicky. Yeah.
I was surprised.
Des and I are the jocks of Rocket Jump.
Yeah, for sure. Gave John a wedgie.
The varsity footballers who rule the roost.
I have to say that John and I sat next to each other. I made sure of it. And I'm actually quite happy that, John, you found some of the more ridiculous parts of that movie as funny as I did.
The back of the 18-wheeler when it started floating.
Oh, that was great. The little floating truck.
Yeah,
Just like,
this-
woo!
Yeah.
That was
The best
great.
was the little punch zoom, too,
Yeah.
in on it. It was just like a Battlestar
a
Galactica,
Battlestar Galactica
punch zoom
punch
on
zoom.
that. Yeah.
What's funny, too, is like that underpass is in like 20 Korean movies.
Oh, really?
By the way. Yeah, like I was like in my head, I was like when they're driving, like this looks really familiar. And I realized that like there's like at least 4 of my last Korean movies I've seen have had like a scene where it's like a stakeout happens in that underpass. Yeah, it's
Just
crazy.
like
It's like
go-to.
it just must be some really famous like South Korean film location. They were all over the place in old Age of Ultron here. They were globe trotting on that. Little Furious 7 levels of international location scouting. I thought, you know.
To me, it's weirder that the Fast and Furious movies became that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Like that
That's
they
true.
just all like it's just superhero movies are such a powerful magnet in the culture now that any franchise I think just eventually becomes the Avengers. Like, I
It
think
is,
that's
yeah.
just-
It's essentially is a superhero movie.
It's just it's a super team, and it's the exact same formula. It's like you got like your bro emotions followed by car spectacle or like action spectacle, and then like like one big bad, like you got like your Jason. I mean, I like Ultron more than Jason Statham, who was a little bit of a wet blanket in that one, but.
So I didn't realize this until I was going home, but I realized Ultron reminded me so much of Megatron from Transformers, because I was like, why does this feel like a Transformers movie?
Because he's a big robot.
Because he's a big
killer
robot.
He's a
that
big
talks.
evil robot.
Yeah, he got a big evil robot that talks and has a deep voice. You know, it's like, oh, it's like a Transformers movie. Anyway, so we all went and saw that. I just got back in time for that screening from the Hulu newfronts, which is, do you guys know anything about this? Do you know anything about what this is?
I know about upfronts.
Okay.
So because do you ever see that movie, The TV Set?
No.
There was a movie that all about getting a TV show made that Judd Apatow produced. I can't remember. David Duchovny basically plays Judd Apatow trying to get Freaks and Geeks made. It's a weird, bitter little look at Hollywood. But anyway,
There's an interesting chapter in the book on the sequel to The War for Late Night that discusses the Leno Conan O'Brien happening, and it talks about Leno's last upfront appearance, and he was supposed to go up and do like 15 minutes, and everyone talks behind the scenes about how that was the first time, and he knew the Conan thing was happening, and it was like he wasn't happy about it, but he hadn't spoken publicly about it, and this was the first time anyone had ever seen him sweating in his career. Whoa. And he went up and just rambled for over an hour and 15 minutes in front of the entire industry and all the advertisers, and everyone was just kind of scratching their noggins like, he's not doing well. I think we screwed this up. And that was like the first indication that they've botched that whole scenario.
So why don't we back up and explain what
Yeah,
upfronts
that's
and now
important.
what newfronts is?
So like upfronts was, so the way television works for those of you who don't care about this crap, which you really shouldn't. There's no reason why you should know any of this. But the way television works is advertising, and advertising is not something where it's like, hey, let's throw some ads on a TV show. Like, no. They decide this stuff far in advance, and decide this stuff at an event in New York called the UpFronts, where every television network parades in front of the advertising world, Madison Avenue, and the whole world of ads. They parade in front of them what's coming out that year. They'll say, hey, here's our fall lineup, and here's all the shows that are coming out on NBC, and they'll show like, here's the show, and it's a big like circus of celebrity and who's who, because they'll parade out the stars, and they'll come and they'll say hi to everyone, and everyone feels like, oh, that's so cool, it's so and so, and hopefully they say, oh, that's so cool, we met so and so, let's buy ads for this show, because clearly this is a happening thing. And that is how the budgets get set. It's just like the entire TV industry kind of revolves around that, because that's where all the money comes from, and that's where all those decisions are made. So it's a big sort of circus every year in New York. So then all this internet crap started happening. And then everyone's like, well, we need to do something for like the internet and what's coming up on the internet. So they have what's called the newfronts.
And how new is Newfronts? When did that begin?
And newfronts is like 3 years, 4 years. It's really,
yeah.
really, really new. And what's incredible about the newfronts, let me pull up here really quick what the lineup this year for the newfronts is, because you would think like, okay, you're like, oh, it must be like Hulu was there, and that's what we were there for our show. But then you're like, well, who else is there? And it's like weird stuff. It's like Time Magazine. Like, wait, what do you mean Time? It's like Time Magazine is gonna put a bunch of videos out this year. Let's buy some advertising around it. And it's like there's some. I'm trying to pull up their schedule this year, and it's like stuff it's people that you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Like Bloomberg Media, BuzzFeed, okay, New York Times, all right, okay, cool, Yahoo, yeah, right. But then there's just stuff where it's like Whistle Sports. The Whistle Sports is going to make a big presentation about what's happening. It's like
what is Whistle Sports?
I don't know. Healthy Nation. Like what?
But then the more obvious ones, YouTube, Vivo,
yeah, it's
Vice.
YouTube.
Yeah.
But it's again, and so here's what's funny about it, because people make fun of the newfronts a lot. And
Why? What do they say?
Well, I gotta be honest, because out of everyone, Hulu, having had like sort of that network TV experience and that network TV upbringing, like had a really tight presentation. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of video of really dry presentations. It's like bad PowerPoints, and people in front just be like, this year video consumption raised 74% compared to the same quarterly, and it's just like
there's no showmanship.
No, not really. But then they start to like inject it, but it's kind of awkward. So like YouTube did theirs, and it was really funny because like YouTube did theirs, and they ended it with Bruno Mars showed up and played Uptown Funk for really no discernible reason. Just so that
no,
it's
but that's show business.
That's
right?
show business, though, right? And I was like, they really missed out, because what he should have played was upfront funk.
Well, except it's not the upfronts.
No, I know,
It's
but
the
he should have
newfronts.
just played that. He just played.
He would have had to call it like New Front Funk.
Front.
And then it would have just been like 2 puns removed.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have understood what he was talking
Now
about.
here's the question: how much do you think it would cost? Because first of all, everyone has a price. We know this. Everyone has a price. How much do you think it would cost to go to Bruno Mars? But hey, listen, your hit song. We want you to change the name of what you sing for this event. How much would you think that would cost?
Depends on how bad he wants to do it, I guess. It could cost a lot if he
think
is
it's
so
a
not
lot.
interested in that idea whatsoever.
I think it'd be a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd probably be parting with some. That's at least double whatever the original fee was.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly.
Like, okay, you want me to debase myself and as well? Yeah, let's
You
double
want
up.
me to be a little clown that dances
Wait, did I ever
for
tell you
you?
the Coolio story?
What's the Coolio story?
So my brother was at Middlebury, and they're putting together their slate of like hey, let's bring some artists to campus. Middlebury's a small sort of liberal arts college in Vermont, known for their language program, and it's a Vermont school, liberal arts out in the middle of nowhere, and they're like, let's bring some artists in. They're like, oh, who we really liked, and we don't talk about it anymore? Coolio. What happened to Coolio? So they looked up like Coolio, and it was like, you can book Coolio for like a nothing sum. It's like enough. It's like enough where it's like, you're like, whatever. I think it was like $5,000 you can get Coolio.
Nice.
And then they're
You
like,
should have had that be a Kickstarter
they're like,
reward.
perfect, Coolio. And then they're like, when they sent the thing over, and then it's like Coolio's people got back, and they're like, yeah, Coolio needs like first class accommodations, he needs a hotel of this sort of status and stuff, and they're like, we got Best Western in town, and he's got a flight coach, and Coolio's like, Yeah, right. So Coolio played at their like sort of.
Coolio did make it into that his name became an adjective, though. Like, I feel like
that's
today
true.
kids know Coolio as something you say instead of cool, like as a fun spin on saying the word cool, more than they might know.
Yeah, they don't know the
Coolio.
origin of Coolio.
They don't know the weight and pathos of Gangster's Paradise.
Did
for
LL
example.
Cool J and Coolio ever do something? Because there was like a lot of cool going on there.
There's a lot of cool.
I think cool was way cooler back
also
in the
something
90s.
Interesting observation.
And I feel like
Very
Thank you,
astute.
Des. I appreciate it.
Very astute.
All right, let's get back to jacking about movies. So we teased a little bit of, and I know Benji's got to throw the word Avengers all over the title of this podcast.
Yeah, so it's become
to get them
instant
sick clicks,
clickbait,
you
yeah.
know? So
Well,
I think
hold on, real quick,
we've
before we get too
teased
deep
the
into that-
audience long enough.
Before we get too deep
And
into
we
that,
will continue to tease
Before-
them
before we do
as
that, let's
Freddie
talk Rocket
finishes
Jump
his
real
New
quick.
Front
Yeah.
story.
Hold on. Well, anyway, we did the New Fronts. Well, I'll tell you more about that in a second. But
Right.
and also Rocket Jump Film School launched.
Huge news.
week.
RJFS is
man.
dropping today. Y'all should go click the shit out of it.
People were up late. I wasn't up late, by the way. Other people were up late.
Cherish went back. Cherish and Joey
Oh, wow.
went back after the movie at like
30,
billion in
12:40.
the morning
Yeah.
to go back and work on this all night. And so
So if you go to school.rocketjump.com, it's up. We have a big, fun one-take video that we put on the main channel, and we did 8 tutorials. Off of that, there's going to be more tutorials coming. There's going to be more lessons and all that stuff. So, but it's off. It's popping. It's
this
good.
may be, I think, the most, maybe aside from season 3, this may be the most content that Rocket Jump has ever dropped
single
on one
drop.
single
Yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah.
Just like
Operation
like here's
content.
a website and a whole thing.
Yeah.
Like,
So we're really excited about it. There's gonna
Yeah.
be some really good stuff, and it's going to just expand. So listeners, we've been teasing it. We've been talking about it for a while. Now it's up, and it's off to the races.
Orientation begins today.
and it's sick. The website's awesome. The video is really, really cool. So go
And you'll
go
learn
get at it.
something. You'll learn something, kids. So, yeah, I highly recommend it. Not only because I'm one of the faculty, but because, if you want to learn about filmmaking, what better place than a bunch of idiots on the internet? So here's the thing about New Fronts. So, okay, first of all, we realized that, so Hulu, okay. So there's a certain level where a company will fly you out somewhere. They'll get you a car service. There will be a black car, a Lincoln of some kind, and they'll drive you to the airport. And then what I've been used to is they'll drive you to the airport, and then you get on the plane, you go. But I realized Hulu is doing this for everybody. So there's another level above that treatment, which is like super VIP treatment. They have a thing, I didn't even realize this, they have a thing at the airports called greeters. So they went, and the guy calls, I'm going to call the greeter, the driver of the car, and we're like, what, the greeter? Like, what the heck is that? And we get there, and there's a person in a suit waiting for us. I'm like, hi, Mr. Waller, Mr. Wong, right this way. And they're grabbing our bags. We're like, oh, no, it's okay. And we realized it was easier to let them just drag your bags for you, because we're like, no, I got this. And they're like, no, sir, no. And it's this awkward, like, no, that's okay. Okay, just go for it. And we're walking through, and we're like, is this guy just going to walk us through the gate? And he's passing us a bunch of photographers, a bunch of paparazzi at LAX. And like, yeah, how's for Khloe Kardashian? And we're like, why do you know all this? How do you know? And he's walking around, he's saying hi to everybody. He's like, hey, Joel. He knows all the TSA guys. He knows all the gate. He knows everybody in this terminal. And we're like, what's going on? And we just get skipped right to the front of every line. And it was like, the guy was like, hi, I have 2 gentlemen here for, yeah. And they're just like, yep, go on through. And it's like,
This is while you were going in through
while
security
we're going
and
in through
stuff?
security. And it's just like instantaneous. And then we get to the gate, and he's like, all right, we're going to go to the lounge for the next 20 minutes, and we're going to go to the gate at 10:05. I'm like, well, this is so, like, what's going on? And he's like just walking us through, and it's super apologetic because we have to go upstairs. I'm like, this must be, because like celebrities, when they show up at the airport, they don't want them to get mobbed. They just got to get from point A to point B as fast as possible, and this guy's trying to facilitate that, which feels weird because I don't get mobbed. None of us get mobbed at airports. We're on the freaking
Or
internet, you know what I mean?
anywhere.
Or anywhere. You know what I mean? So, but it was funny because like it totally effed up my routine. Like Terminal 3, Virgin America, like I have a routine. I get
Your
there.
rhythm,
I get there a little late, and like I get there, I get some Burger King French fries because they got a Burger King in the terminal, and then like I sit and munch on them and it's like, and they're like, we're gonna go up to lunch. I was like, yeah, but can we? No BK. Okay, all right. Just get up in the lounge, and then we get onto the gate, and they're like, yep. And then he talks to the gate agent. It's like, hi, Lori. Hey, how's it going? I got 2 gentlemen here in first class. Okay, great. You guys can board now. I'm like, what do you mean? There's no one here. They're like, let's go. You can board early. And it's like not like board early, like it's children small, first class children.
Yes,
It's like, no.
You're pushing
We are
Army
on-
veterans and handicapped children out of the way.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
that
yeah.
you can get sit in your first class
Right.
seat just a little bit early.
For your goofy TV presentation.
Like,
right.
we
You
were-
become that guy, Fred.
We were in
the face
first
of
class.
Rocket Jump is a total jerk face.
We were in first class as they were still cleaning the plane. Like there's like people in the
my
back, and we're just like,
God.
what do we do? We're just like, this is weird.
That's so weird.
And then when we landed, when you got out, as soon as we got out of the gate, there's a person holding our names, and then the same thing, ferried us straight to the car, and we're like, this is nuts. And on the way back, it was even crazier because we were a little late for the flight, and we cut so many people in New York. They're looking at you like, who's this asshole? And we're like, how this feels so weird. Like she was like, the lady would just go right up to the security line, open the thing, and then she's like, you guys can go right ahead. And there's like 40 people sitting there like, what's going on? And she's like, it's okay.
It's okay. They make videos on the internet.
Yeah, right? And we get through, and then I realized, like, Ben and I were like, this is awkward. One, because it's like nobody cares about us, so it's like it's just weird. It just feels like you're just getting ferreted through. So like, okay, here's what we need to do, Ben. I need to wear giant sunglasses, like you only see my lower lip sunglasses, just huge, and I just gotta like look drugged out and like wear like a pop collar shirt. And then Ben would be like, yeah, this is Park Sung-hook. He's part of a Korean boy band. You may the boy band's H12. Yeah, they're huge over in Korea. And I just sit there and just like not say anything, and then that way it justifies the treatment. And also explains why nobody recognizes this.
So it's like a deep cut.
Yeah. But then we're like, we should just go 100%.
You should just pretend you're Psy, man. Just do it.
But I was saying we should also go 100% with it, where it's like Ben would just go up to the gate agents like, yeah, they're huge in Korea. Last summer they had a big single called like Hearts Everywhere, and then I'd be like, oh, Hearts Everywhere, Karen Nakto-san, and then Benji goes like, oh no, I'm like, oh okay. And then like do the whole thing where it's like as soon as I hear like anything related to it, I just jump into like do a dance number. It's like no, I was just
that'll
explaining
sell
to
the
them.
authenticity of it.
Exactly.
For sure.
Oh yeah, he's a big beatboxer. Oh, beat the box. No, it's okay. Anyway, so that was like the weird experience of upfronts, because when we were there, and like it was us. It was like Taron Killam was doing the hosting. J.J. Abrams was there. James Franco they were doing a show together. Jerry Seinfeld. It was like all these like Polar, like all
And
these
guys all take the stage and talk about their show.
And the best, well, here's the problem, right? Because the way they structured this freaking presentation, it was like, first up, Taron Killam warms up the crowd, then throw to J.J. Abrams, and they riff off each other. It's freaking Franco. And like nobody has any material for their stuff. They're just like, hey, this is the show that we're doing. Like, and hey, look at us, we're celebrities. So it's all real celebrities with other people who are real celebrities and professional comedians riffing on each other. And then it's like, and now internet brings you Freddie Wong. I'm like, buy him
some other Jack Joe.
No,
Ben
not
Waller.
No, Ben wasn't up. They didn't even want Ben up there.
It was just you by yourself.
Just me by myself following up a killer's row, murderer's row of professional comedians. And I was just like, what do I do? I was like, one, and nobody fucking knows who.
Did you make like breathing sounds in the microphone?
Well, we were joking. We were joking that what we should do is we should take all this New Fronts footage and I'd be like, and now Freddie Wong, and then just cut to like the just just reuse the clip of just like the 2 seconds before I show up, and just like have the audio as if my mic is live backstage. Like, okay. You're gonna do this.
It's like that scene in Naked Gun where you're mic'd up.
Yeah.
in the
And then bathroom. Yeah. I was like, okay,
Screw those guys.
You're really
What the hell are they
Doing
know?
the
Freddie Wong.
the Dirk Diggler monologue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. I was like,
You're a star.
Is he looking at his? Is he
So what
looking
did
at
you?
his?
So you went out.
And so I had a little like thing. They had the teleprompter, and I'm reading it, and I'm, I can fake. I don't know. It was awkward because I was
Crickets and, like, a
because I was
cough.
so aware of, like, I'm up there, nobody knows. It's getting to the end of the pressure, nobody cares, and I'm
You
after all
gotta
this
make them
real-
care. You gotta kick
so
down
I-
that stage and make them
But
care.
luckily we had some footage for the show that we could show, and people liked the trailer, and the trailer played well. But I was like, I need a joke. I need to throw a joke in here. Normally,
no.
and Will knows this.
Did you
and-
have something
And
prepared?
Will knows this, by the way. Normally, my go-to, I need jokes text goes straight to Will's inbox.
I've gotten the Freddie needs jokes text a couple of
and
times.
you've
yeah.
saved my life on numerous occasions here, and I can't thank you enough for that. Haven't got you a gift? I need to get you like a good.
You got me a bottle of scotch after
That's right.
after
Whole
we
Freddie
killed
Will
at the
Wankfest over
Dice
here.
Awards.
Oh, yeah.
after
all the
you
jokes.
won Entertainer of the Year for our Killer Dice Awards set.
So yeah, that was yeah. So I was like, okay, I need something. I was like, I need something that can play to this older audience and I was like, so I ended it with I was like, ladies and I was like, before we see the trailer, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to remind you that you're gonna know where this is going, Will. But like, I was like, Hulu may have given you the whole seat, but you're only gonna need the edge.
Nice.
All right. And I was like, it worked. I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh, thank God they got it.
And we played the trailer, and that was that. And it was funny too, because like backstage, it was like, it's like J.J. Abrams, that motherfucker works. By the way, like the moment he got there, he was doing interviews, he was taking pictures, he was like talking to people. Like there was not a moment where he was not doing something. That guy,
He's a
works.
hustler.
He's a hustler through and through. Franco's exactly what you expect. As soon as the thing ended, he was like, "All right, we out of here. All right," just a walk on stage.
I wanted to say, one time I accidentally ended up in that situation.
What situation?
Where you're just like confronted with people you really admire, but like it was an accident. I was turning a corner, and I accidentally cut off Bill Hader and Jonah Hill, and like I just like so I kind of just realized who I had to cut off. I was standing right in front of them. And they're like, and I was like, oh, and then it all just hit me at once, and I just like melted in front of them. Essentially, I just went like, oh my god, and I was just like, I was like, you guys are so cool, and I was, and they were super nice about it. They were just like thanks, man. Like,
get out of our fucking way, please.
And I literally all I could think was I just went like, I shook my head, I just went, oh my god, I just walked away like immediately. Like, I didn't even say goodbye. I was like, oh, like,
Now, Dez,
Yeah.
you've had your fair share of hilarious celebrity sides. You only
Oh
say
my
ooh,
God.
But somehow, you have found more than almost anybody I know. You found yourself I feel like you found yourself in celebrity situations. Like
More often than not, it's bizarre.
but it's not like, oh, I met so and so and I saw that. It's like weird stuff. Like when Chappelle came back and did his legendary rambling
It was
2
like
hour.
the first after Chappelle disappeared for years, he came back, and it was one of the first nights he did a 3-hour set. I hesitate to say set because it was not a series of jokes or even material, or at least it didn't feel like it. Maybe that's the effect he was going for, but he just came up and took us through Chappelle therapy for 3 hours in a room full of like 6 people at midnight.
and
But yeah,
you were
I have a
one
lot
of
of
those-
bizarre experiences like that. I got locked in a lobby with James Franco and 6 other people one time with a bunch of screaming fans on the other side of a glass wall. That was crazy.
Tell
weird
your
stuff like that.
Zemeckis story. This
I have a
one's my
great
favorite.
Zemeckis story. I'm a big Zemeckis fan. Back to the Future was, big movie for me when I was a kid. And going into USC, knowing that was the place, that taught Zemeckis, I was so amped about that. And then he was going to be there one night. I had a job at USC that afforded me the opportunity to meet all these people when they would come in. I would park their cars and then walk them to the classroom. And I was amped for hours, just flop sweat, waiting to meet one of my heroes, and I'm thinking, like, what am I going to say to this guy? Should I talk about Back to the Future? Should I talk about used cars? Ooh, maybe I should talk about used cars because that would make me like a really hip, in the know filmmaker kind of dude. So anyway, long story short, I help him park his car, and I'm frozen. I don't know if I can say anything. My heart is beating out of my chest, and I walk him out of the car, and we're going up the ramp, heading towards the classroom, and I finally push myself to the edge. And I open my mouth and I blurt out, Mr. Zemeckis, I just got to tell you, I am just a huge fan. And then I freeze. And he kind of like looks down and over to the left down at me. He's a big, tall guy. And he smiles and he says, yeah, that's great, kid. Now where's your piss at? I got to take a squirt. Like this old-timey guy.
Where's
just
your
like,
piss at, kid?
I could care less about this kid. I just got to urinate. And I walked into the bathroom, and that was it. I was like, okay, that was my hero.
Oh, that's
Just
incredible.
wants to know where he can go take a piss.
That's incredible.
I feel like those are all my
This is
celebrity
like the
sighting
building's
stories.
named after him too. It's the Zemeckis Center.
Yeah, literally, my first day in Hollywood, I ate at Mel's. I had dinner at Mel's Diner next to MC Hammer.
What?
Yeah, MC Hammer was eating a patty melt, and I pull up my camera phone, like, dude, I'm like first day in LA, and I'm
Oh,
sitting next
no.
to MC Hammer, and I try to sneak a pic, and I had the flash on, and it flashed through the whole restaurant. Everyone turns and looks at me and shakes their head, and I even heard someone like off scream go, "Come on, man!" Not cool.
No way.
Like that story alone, my first day in LA, set the tone for all my celebrity
I would
sightings.
have moved back. Like I would have
Yeah.
packed it up. I would have packed
Yeah.
up my dreams and quit just
That's-
off of that.
Those are
Oh,
all my
God.
stories. Yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
That's pretty bad.
Didn't
But
see-
did you meet any of these celebrities at Newfronts?
Oh, there was only one. There's only one. They did a big brunch afterwards. We saw so the guy that was like the most like holy crap was Trey Parker. And Trey Parker, by the way, the only person not wearing a suit. He was just like running shoes, jeans, whatever. But yeah, he's just like whatever. And he's like, and everybody, like Trey Parker was interesting because I was telling Des this. Everybody was like, oh my God, it's Trey Parker. And I realized it's because, and someone's like, yeah, it's because he's essentially the youngest living comic legend, right? So you have like guys like Louis C.K. and stuff, but they're like older. He's like the youngest guy who has like an unassailable body of work.
Yeah, he is a god.
And but as they were leaving and finishing up the brunch, Amy Poehler popped by and she's like, hey guys, just real quick, I just want to say I really like the trailer. All right, bye. And we're like, and Ben was like, yeah. So we had a little.
That's nice of her to go out of her way to do something like that.
Say welcome to the
very nice of her to do that. Yes.
Yeah.
No kidding. Because by the way, they had all the tables, right? And
did you? Was it like a cafeteria lunchroom table?
No,
situation?
But they had pre-assigned seats. Well, please. And they had the president of Hulu sitting next to Trey Parker, and they had like J.J. Abrams sitting next. So it was like okay. Yeah. And then who
were you guys?
We were in the corner table with a reporter from Us Weekly and a guy in analytics.
Nice
at
kids
Hulu.
table.
It was like the kids
Hulu
table at the Hulu party. It was great. But no, very nice of her to acknowledge anything to do with us. And it was funny because we were just back and like, all right, we gotta make a show now.
Okay, gotta go back.
Oh,
So that's my New York experience. And here's the other thing, final thing. As we were leaving, the person was like, hey, here's my number. If you guys are ever traveling out to New York, just give me a call. In terms of the greeters and stuff. I was like, I wonder if this is like, if you have the number, you need these people. Like one of those things, or if I don't know. I'm gonna try though. I don't think it'll work if you're like, hey, I got a coach flight to Newark.
You're like, okay, that'll be $5,000.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Anyway, let's talk a little bit. We've been teasing it so long. Let's talk Avengers and the movies that
at long last
define our lives a little bit.
Oh my God!
After the break.
Hey guys, I want to take this opportunity to tell you about one of our latest sponsors, the Facerocker Podcast, Sherry's Berries. You got Mother's Day right around the corner, and you need to take care of Mom. So let Sherry's Berries help you out. Sherry's Berries has come in and helped us out in this podcast by sponsoring us and keeping us free, and now we're going to be giving that back to you, okay? So here's the offer. For our listeners only, Sherry's Berries is offering giant, freshly dipped strawberries starting at only $19.99. That's over 40% savings. Go to berries.com, click on the little microphone, and type in the code FACEROCKER. That's again, click the microphone and type in the code FACEROCKER, and that'll get you 40% savings on Sherry's Berries, these giant, delicious, juicy, tasty, sweet, tangy berries of all sorts and sizes, dipped in delicious, sugary, sweet chocolates and nuts and caramel drizzles and decorative swizzles. You can choose your berries. You can choose cake truffles, brownie pops, pretzels, more. Everything a mother would love, right? Don't you want her to be happy? Don't you want to give a little something back? Mom's been taking care of you your entire life, right? The least you can do is show her how sweet she's been to you with a sweet little Sherry's Berries. Again, go to berries.com, click on the microphone, type in the code FACEROCKER to get yourself 40% off. Only when you use the code FACEROCKER. Visit berries.com. That's the word berries, BERRIES.com. Click on the microphone in the top right corner. Use Facerocker. Hook Mom up. Take care of her. You'll feel good about it. I promise you. Do this. Keep the Facerocker podcast free. And let's get back to the show.
All right, welcome back, guys.
And we're back.
Yeah, this
we're
is
back without Freddie Wong.
First time on the Facerocker podcast. Freddie bailed at the break.
Freddie came in, told us his cool, long story about being a cool celebrity, but not a celebrity.
I ride first class, and I have lunch with J.J. Abrams and James Franco and Amy Poehler, and I don't know who you losers are.
Oh, you want to have a discussion about a movie?
No, I don't think so. I have meetings to be off to. More meetings.
Yeah.
So Freddie, a limo just pulled in through the garage door.
Jeeves came by and said, Mr. Wong, you're due for your next
Freddie hopped into the jacuzzi in the back of a Stretch H3, and he's off to his big Hulu meeting. So here
we are.
Here the rest of us
the
are.
mop-up crew.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So you could leave if you want. If you can totally take off. Hey, Joey. We're casting,
bro.
Yeah.
Joey Scoma. Hey, Joey, come over here for a second.
Joey's here.
Joey, congratulations again on the film school launch. Joey has been working his tail off, cutting some sick vids for the film school.
My sweet tail.
Shaking that rump.
Yeah, shaking that rump. Thank you. It's been
Joey, come close to the mics. Come on, man.
Thank you. It's been an honor.
Go get some rest, buddy. So if
So,
you're
yeah.
still here,
All right.
All right, yeah, this is what you've been waiting for. The Avengers.
Three
discussion.
Avengers
dudes
sans
talk about
Freddie.
the Avengers.
three dudes
Get
talking
hyped.
superhero
Yeah.
movies, and we should probably warn you from this point. This is the spoiler wall. From this point
Yeah.
forward, we're gonna ruin everything about this movie.
Here be
Yeah.
it spoilers.
Here be it spoilers. So if you want to
Yeah.
know what happens in Avengers 2, stick around. You can always revisit this after you see the
So
movie.
let's
I'm sure
let's-
you're going this weekend.
Let's start off with the biggest spoiler and talk about that little flying truck that flies halfway through the movie.
yeah.
Right.
Because that was by far my favorite part of the film.
a movie featuring a Norse god and a giant green man
and a super soldier
yeah,
and
that-
a,
all that was like not as nearly
Secondary.
ridiculous
as that
as
little truck tooling into the air.
Floating semi truck.
Just two Ultrons lifting a trailer bed, and then again the Battlestar Galactica like snap zoom on
Yeah.
it. And I was like, this is great. I could watch that thing tool around all day. I kind of wish Samuel L. Jackson had shown up with that truck at the end to say, get all the people off of the floating island. Like, I got the truck,
Yeah.
guys. Let's go.
Yeah, we never saw what
Yeah.
happened in that little truck.
Yeah.
Little truck that could.
yeah, I honestly quite enjoyed it, but it was really testing my patience with the amount of like civilian saving at the end. I mean,
It felt like an overcorrection for Man of Steel a little
Absolutely,
bit. You know what I mean?
It did. You know, the first civilian save or two, it's like, okay, this feels like a course correction. You have to show superheroes being heroes,
Yeah.
saving the people rather than just causing all this destruction. But then there's like 45 minutes of that, and then they even added this line where Iron Man is like, oh, the Stark relief team is coming in to rebuild
Well,
the
this is
city
a-
that we've just destroyed.
the
I'm sure
Ultron
that's
bots.
I'm sure that's part of the comics, but it felt like
Here's
hey,
here's honestly what to me was like I was because I liked it, and again I liked that they were doing that. And it was interesting and added. I thought the dilemma at the end was really cool. Like, oh shit, it's this huge meteor lifting in the air, and if they kill Ultron, all these people die. But then it's like all the people here versus all the people on Earth. I thought that was awesome. But then it's like, for all of the civilian saving, like if you're gonna make that as much of a thing, like I gotta see some civilians get greased, man. Like you gotta have them fail.
and you know, I thought they were going
I
for
thought they were
it
gonna drop that girl
with the girl.
I
in
thought
the
she was
car.
just gonna die, and I thought that would have been really
That
intense.
would have been great because I don't know. I don't know why they're afraid to go there. Why
It's
can't
'cause
people
it's-
die in a movie? They're gonna save a bunch of them, but let them feel what it's like
Yeah,
to
feel
lose
the pain
somebody.
of losing something. Yeah, because that's what it missed for me in terms of that, was that if you were going to go out of your way to make that such a big part of the story, then I felt like you needed to. Otherwise, it was just like you kept checking in with. It felt like lip service.
I thought there might have been a shot or two where some faceless, no-name action guy gets greased in the background, you know, but you don't feel that. There's no emotional
And
stake.
there was definitely a couple like where I was like when Iron Man just throws the Hulk into that elevator with a family in it, and then they drop like 40 stories, and then I was like, oh, they're done. They all just died, and then
Yeah.
they're like, no, they all got out. It was
No, they
fine.
got out. They're okay.
I was like, did they?
It was a fun movie.
It was fun. I had a good time. I'll
the
be
one
honest.
gag when the civilian got saved, where the guy like falls out of the car
Starts
and just starts
puking.
puking.
That
That
was
was
great.
that was
That was
fun.
awesome.
That
It
was
needed,
good.
it needed
Well,
more of that.
the movie definitely had Joss Whedon knows how to balance that comedy, and again,
Yeah.
it really, people were saying that this one was it really felt like a comic book, and I think it absolutely did in terms of the juggling of the lighthearted banter with the action with the kind of more serious stuff.
And everything felt, it's not necessarily a bad thing either. Everything was a self-contained moment. You know, that film works as a large collection of action gags and little comedy beats, like character comedy beats. And it's just moment to moment, very much like a comic book panel and a series of panels strung together. And I feel I was a bit exhausted, you know, because there's some weird pacing issues in that film. And some of these moments don't exactly flow into one another. When they do, it's spectacular. I don't know. It's sort of a weird experience watching that film. It was very different than
like watching
the
the
first
last
Avengers
3
film.
episodes of a season back to back instead of a movie. You know,
Yeah.
There were so many strands they were trying to tie
Mm-hmm.
up at once, and so much pre-known knowledge, like Hydra and the staff and
yeah,
and I
but
was
everybody knows that stuff. There are, everyone.
Yeah.
People could tell you. I bet the average citizen knows more about Hydra than they do about Congress. I think
stretch.
someone could tell you more
you know what? I
about the
believe
Marvel
that.
lore than they could about the way the American legal system works. Or
Actually,
something
the
like
other
that.
day, Matt had no idea who John Boehner was. So, I think you actually might be onto something there.
Yeah.
John Boehner also a Hydra.
But Matt could talk about Hydra all day.
Yeah.
I don't know. What didn't work for you guys?
Here's what didn't work is that I'm not 12 anymore.
Yeah,
What
right?
didn't work is ultimately like I can't fault the movie for anything because I thought it was solid as hell. Like it was just
it is a massive achievement that you can put that film together.
But
it's insane.
I always walk out of these Marvel movies with like this sort of like grouchy despair at the end of it.
Yeah.
And I think it's just that knowing that if I was 10, I would be doing backflips right now.
Yeah.
But I'm an old, bitter man and I'm just broken. And these movies aren't for me anymore. And I just feel like.
But what do you be specific? What is it?
I don't like I can't get pumped for superheroes knocking each other around. Like I don't like it's
Yeah.
it barely moves the needle anymore.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I mean? Like it like the and
But
like
there are very adult emotions and situations that these people are dealing with.
which
though.
honestly like if someone just did The Big Chill but with all of those characters and it was just all of them hanging out at that farmhouse for 3 hours talking about their feelings, I would have been on the edge of my seat. I would have been like, oh, this is interesting. Like, wow,
Yeah.
this is really good. Like, I wouldn't have needed a lick of action.
Yeah.
But like so much of the movie is the sound and fury, and like when you're a kid, it's like the most awesome thing on earth, and like you're flipping out, like you're gonna like you could set a kid down in front of just 12 hours of the Hulk banging on stuff and
Yeah.
Thor and Scarlet Witch throwing down, and like it would, and that's cinema, and that's exciting, and that's
Yeah.
passionate, but like I just look at that and I'm like, okay, I put my brain on hold.
Sure.
Like I'm
As
just
a self-declared more mature viewer, you're right. It's the scenes in the farmhouse. It's Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye talking to Scarlet Witch and telling her, like,
Yeah.
look, I get it. None of this makes any sense, but I have a family and I have a job and I'm going out to do it and I'm going to go home at the end of the day, kind
Here's
of a
what
thing.
it-
Like
well,
that stuff is really interesting to me.
the movies have this like something for everyone kind of vibe, right?
Yeah.
Like again, you look at a movie like Guardians, and Guardians had subversive 80s pop culture stuff and this winky Han Solo-esque guy to kind of appeal to people our age, but then had the cute raccoon and like all this other
For
these
the
big-
kids,
and-
yeah.
But it's like when there's a little bit of something for everybody, like you don't get a whole thing just for you. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like
Yeah.
because it's this big broad thing, like there's gonna be parts of it that work really well for you and parts of it that you totally check out on. And that's kind of almost by the design of those films.
No, it always has been, since the advent of movies being released in theaters in a mall.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be something for everyone. It's that whole big blockbuster thing.
And I'm just at this point. Yeah, and I guess it's like I'm at this point where it
so
all
I'm-
has to be like action. Like it has to work so well
Yeah.
in terms of story and emotion and drama for me to really get caught up in it. And the Marvel formula where they're pumping out these 2 movies a year and it's this producer thing and it's this colossal achievement.
Yeah.
And again, like the performances are incredibly winning. The writing on the whole is good. Even if I wouldn't even say that I had any bones to pick with like the action cinematography or anything like this. I thought the direction was spectacular. And like they're like the whole moment where they're wrapping around and all the they're wailing on all the little
It's like
Ultrons and
it
stuff.
builds
was
to this.
awesome.
It builds to this future superhero capture the flag moment.
Yeah.
where they're fending everyone off from touching the flag, which
Yeah.
would then win. Ultron would win the game and destroy Earth. It's simple, but
It works,
exciting,
but
and it works.
I felt nothing.
Yeah,
And I
Yeah,
just like,
that's
and
how
I
I was.
can't, but I can't dock the movie for that because again, I think that's just like what I'm bringing to the. It's like Luke Skywalker walking into the cave with his weapons on him. You know what I mean? Like I have all these weapons of cynicism and quote unquote maturity that you have to strip off to be able to really enjoy something like that.
Yeah.
So I think I brought into the cave my own self-loathing or whatever.
there were definitely moments in that film where I don't know. I was thrown. The vision. I don't know if the vision works.
I like the Vision a lot actually. I enjoyed it. What did you think, John?
Yeah, I honestly I was surprised because last I saw the first Avengers with all you guys.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, whatever. And you were all like, that was the coolest thing ever. And then
Yeah.
I saw this new one, and I actually thought it worked in a lot of ways better than the first one for me. I was more engaged. I thought like the bad guy had a more interesting, through line or
Good
whatever.
antagonist.
Yeah, I thought it was funny the whole way through, and then I walk out, and everyone is just like miserable. I was just like,
I don't know if
whatever. That was a bunch of.
I don't know if
stuff."
anyone was miserable.
No, I mean, it was just the energy, just compared to the energy of the first one.
I thought the energy in that theater wasn't nearly as big as
No.
what
You know, it wasn't, and everyone just walked out exhausted. It was almost 3 hours.
Well, you know
of,
what it was
of
is that
just constant action.
the first one has a lot of novelty going for it.
Right, yeah.
I think the first one has a clearer emotional through line.
Yeah.
You're watching all these ragtag derps become a team. You know what I mean? Like, and that's
Right.
always a fun story to track.
Right.
Whereas this one, like, it had like 10 different balls in the air that it was juggling.
And
it
it's
did-
also like, hey, next, this is the second Avengers movie. We're introducing all the next big wave of the team, but it's like who?
Yeah.
The fast guy and the lady from X-Men apparently who can literally do anything, and a guy with wings who shows up in the last shot of the movie, and I think he was maybe in one of the other movies, and I might have seen him in the background of the party scene. Like, who are these people? It makes this big to-do of the rest of the Avengers, and nobody knows who these people are.
I definitely wanted Beat headphones by the end of that.
Yeah.
A lot of
If
Beats
Hulk,
by Dre.
if Hulk listens to Beats.
Beats
then
by Dre, lots of Sony product placement.
Yeah.
Stark uses all Sony gear, which is a little weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if Dre was one of the Avengers at the end? Like, they just had Dre or Kanye just be one of the new guys.
And they just rap and distract everyone with sick beats.
They're like, They're like, why do we need Kanye West on the team? It's
So
like,
wait,
'cause he's the best.
So wait,
man.
what's Scarlet Witch's deal? At first I thought it was just she could get into people's heads.
So she's got psychic powers. She's like a Jean Grey. You remember Jean Grey? Kind
Yeah.
of like she's like she can like get into your brain and stuff, but then like all the red stuff is
But
like
then-
telekinesis. It's
But
like
yeah, but then
psychic.
she telekinesis a train, a moving train.
Yeah, she's got that's what telekinesis is.
No. Telekinesis allows you to get into other people's minds
You're
and
thinking
see.
of telepathy.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
telepathy. Telekinesis
you're right.
is when you move objects with your brain.
Correct.
It's like the Force.
You are correct. So she
She's
literally
like a Jedi.
she was a
basically.
Jedi.
Yeah, without their sword.
Which almost made her the most powerful of them all.
I still
She
get-
could do it.
Oh no, she definitely yeah.
She
Considering
could
she
do
can like
anything.
boop people
And then they
like,
leave her to guard the flag all by herself. And it's
mean,
like,
hey, she
can we
got
do
it,
that? She's
dude.
like, yeah, I get it.
That was a cool sequence, I thought, when she got in everyone's heads and they all kind of like all their weaknesses.
That
and,
was
like,
neat.
passwords.
I don't
Although
know.
you know, I didn't really.
I didn't
here's
get
what I'll
I
say.
didn't get the whole Thor.
The
thread.
Thor thing was the weakest
That
part.
didn't track for me. I didn't know
It's
what
just like,
he saw.
She went into Thor's brain and showed him the next 20 pages of the script. He's
Yeah.
like, "Holy crap! I gotta get on that. I gotta
Yeah.
go advance my subplot."
Yeah.
That
Thor's
didn't-
didn't work, and I thought actually the cat like it was like I'm showing everyone their greatest fear, and then like Captain America just like sees a swing band dance. And his
I didn't
old
get that
girlfriend,
either.
And he was
Yeah.
like, "Man, I could have been that, but I'm not." Like it was like.
But he's
And it
already
was
he's
like-
always been wrestling with that. You know,
And it
I
would
don't
have been an interesting opportunity to see what, like, to me, like a Captain America worst fear would be like Captain America as Hitler, basically like as like this sort of fascist Ubermensch who like is worshipped by people or something like that, and showing like or like Superman Red Sun or something like that. I think
Yeah.
you could have done some crazy shit with that. That
Right.
would have been really cool.
Or America,
to see what he's
America
really,
Falls. and-
America
yeah.
Falling, yeah, like Red Skull stomping all over the place. Like that would have been his fear, more than just like I miss my girlfriend, I guess. But we got to tie it into the TV show, I guess.
Yeah,
And then Scarlet, and then Black Widows was just a flashback. Like it wasn't. Again, it didn't.
No, that was that was very much. You don't know anything about her, so it's a flashback of her fear isn't going to make any sense. So we just have to show you her origin story in a quick 15-second montage.
It felt like a cheat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it felt like it was no longer the thing they were saying it was. It was just like, oh, but here's her backstory, which she's sad about. Like I think there could have been a way to make that a cool dream sequence by having like the guy she's executing at the end turns out to be Bruce Banner, and then at least you're like oh,
Yeah.
I see. It's like her fear of her dark past. Interfering with his relationship.
Yeah, and I have mixed feelings on the film in general because I appreciate its ambition, but I feel like it overreached its grasp at times. There are moments of pure spectacle that are just insane. Things I've never seen in movies before. It's just awesome. When it works, it works. But there are moments that just fail, like the ones we're just discussing, because it's...
I wouldn't even know if I would say that those moments failed. They just were, it's
Really?
like the...
I don't know. They don't work. Like I don't get Cap's thing, Black Widow's thing. I don't engage with that. I don't know what Thor's even looking at.
You know what this movie was that it's one of these things where it's like what Mike was saying about, and actually how I feel about a lot of Marvel movies and how when I walk out of them is that it was so good I wish it was better. You know what I mean? Like everything works.
I can say that about 9. Well, I'm not gonna put an actual percentage to it, but most films I walk out of thinking that.
No, but like I'll give you by contrast, like Fast Furious 7, like
Yeah.
that movie was exactly as good as I needed it to be. You know what I mean? Like I was
That's
like,
true.
fuck yeah, like this is.
I
like,
walked out
wasn't
satisfied.
Expecting a lot. It wasn't, like it knew what it was doing and it just went for it.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Marvel movies, there's always like because they get these killer filmmakers, they get these great actors, they get like great writers, and then they get it like 80 to 85% of the way there.
Yeah.
Like it's always about to become like a Spider-Man level 2 masterpiece. piece, but then it's kind of burdened by this. We've got to have everything have kind of the same feel because it's all the shared universe. We have to like set up the Infinity Stones. All right, so that's something I'll legit rant about for a second, which is just shit or get off the pot with fucking Thanos already. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm tired
Just
of
a purple
that.
guy with a glove.
I don't get it.
Like
it's Thor says every world has its reflection, and he goes to some miracle pond. We don't know where, and he goes for a swim, and he comes out, and in his vision, he has a vision in his pond.
Kevin Feige's Phase 3.
Yeah, he saw Phase 3, and then comes back and tries to explain just enough of it to the rest of the Avengers and the audience to set up the next phase of the Marvel
Infinity
films.
War comes out in like 2018. Like, how much longer are we going to tease this guy?
You could have cut all of that. You didn't need any of that.
Well, you know what? I thought, and again, this is Joss Whedon's screenwriting daring do, is that he uses the whole Buffalo. Because it's like he manages to fold it into Vision. Because it's like the head Vision show up and like using the like, oh, this is his little doodad is the thing that the guy needs for the thing. Like that was a really elegant way to do that.
Yeah.
Like I was like, nice. I can see how that gets you to this kind of flow. Like and that's the really tricky part of comic book writing because the lore is so dense and weird and people have such specific expectations of it. And I think I think honestly they're in a lot of trouble without him. Because like especially with these like I'm interested.
They're in a
to
lot
see
of
what
trouble
the
without
Russos-
him, and everything I've read from Kevin Feige sounds like he's exhausted.
Sounded like poor Joss Whedon was exhausted by the end of that.
Yeah,
thing.
Joss
Like, it was
Whedon
like,
is
oh
toast
my
on
God.
this. I don't know. The first trailer for Phase 3 is Ant-Man, which, I mean, all rumblings are that movie's a complete clusterfuck.
It's tough because it's like my favorite moments in all of those Marvel movies are when they just let their hair down and just be just a quirky thing. Like again, like that Ant-Man trailer, the one moment everyone's talking about in that Ant-Man trailer is just the joke at the end where the little toy train hits. I'm like, that was great. Like,
great.
Like more of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like but I get it. And again, any criticism I would have of a Marvel film is just, it's like this tiny pebble thrown up against this giant Great Wall of China made out of $100 bills because it's like it's so much money. Like you can't even like, how am I going to knock this
Yeah, you know what it
is?
It's not a Rembrandt, but it's entertaining and it's making money. And they're able to go out and do it, and
people,
I don't know.
And again, it's one of these things where it's one of those things.
It works.
It's really funny movie. It's like really like I don't know. It
was really funny.
I was very impressed by it.
So
and, like,
many
it
beautiful
has the weight,
human moments.
Yeah, yeah, and it has the weight of this expectation of like this has to be like the greatest summer movie ever, and it's never gonna pull that. Like Joss Whedon, like he's great, but he's not like Stanley Kubrick or anything. He's not gonna make like a mind-blowing masterpiece, but it was really funny and entertaining. The action was good. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. No, I would give it high marks on all
and, like,
of that.
like everyone's super disappointed about it, and like the critics are not liking it as much.
I don't think you can help being disappointed because a movie like all the marketing leading up to Avengers, the expectation is this has to be the greatest thing ever.
Everyone went nuts for like Winter Soldier, and I thought that was a bore. You know, this was.
I was not a big Winter Soldier fan. I definitely like this more. I like this more than Winter Soldier. A little less than the first Avengers. Like it just didn't have it just didn't, you know, like it's I don't know.
Even less than Guardians for me if we're ranking them now.
It's again, it's to me, I always go back to like that. These movies clearly work for a lot of people, and like I think there is just a certain mismatch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could lecture someone, Des, I'm sure, until you're blue in the face about the joy in theater and opera of pro wrestling. But if they don't care about pro wrestling, they're not going to care.
Right.
And I do kind of feel like at a certain point with Marvel movies, like I want to. It's like, ugh,
yeah, I
but
want
it's like,
to.
I'm not that guy. I'm not a comic book.
There's a
nerd.
little
Like,
piece of me that does, but I'm just not a huge comic
I've
book
tried to
nerd.
catch the bug. Like I've gone and I remember in college I read a bunch of DC comics, I read a bunch of Marvel comics, and I was just like, I can't get into it. You know what I mean?
Dude,
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth needs to do more comedy.
He's a delight.
He is fantastic.
So funny
Just
as Thor.
the party scene that everyone was talking about where
great.
they're trying out lifting Thor's hammer, just the look he gives when, again, this is a spoiler, when Cap gives it that little budge is incredible.
Yeah.
You know? It's just pure terror.
It was
and
great.
Disbelief.
Yeah, and he plays it with that nervous laugh. Like,
it was
the smile.
phenomenal.
Yeah, he played it to the hilt. Yeah.
I don't know. That was a good gag. The hammer. None of us saw
The
that
payoff
coming.
with Vision was terrific.
Payoff with Vision was great.
Yeah,
I mean, the flip side of that.
He's like, it's terribly well balanced. And he's like, well, if it's too heavy, you can't do it.
Yeah, it's like two bros just chumming
in
it up at the
middle
water
of the
cooler.
climactic,
Yeah,
like I
it's
kind
great.
of liked how it just.
All that stuff's
Those
great.
are the
And
moments
Joss
that
Whedon's the master.
Those
Yeah,
are the
like,
moments
they're
that
all
work for me.
terrific.
It's just guys on the job chatting at the water cooler.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny and it's always true to character. That's what Joss does. He's self-proclaimed character first, plot, if ever, kind of guy. You know, I don't know. The movie really works. The Vision stuff is kind of, I don't know, it was really weird. I couldn't help but laugh at the guy, you know, Paul Bettany in this goofy Tron makeup.
I thought it looked cool. I thought it looked sweet.
I disagree. To me, it just looked goofy as all hell.
It was goofy.
And
To me, the goofiest shot in the movie was giant Hulk sitting in that teeny tiny cockpit at the end when he's like, and now I'm flying
sitting
off to
Indian
Hulk
style,
Island.
and he looks up into the sky like, off to Hulk planet.
And he's just like,
Yeah. I don't know.
I'll be interested to see what they do
Thor
with
looks
him.
is utterly ridiculous. That looking the entire I think
It's all ridiculous. For some reason, I can't explain it. For some reason, Vision felt like a bridge too far. The guy is beyond.
It's only gonna get weirder.
He's
from
beyond
here.
a god. He's got
trees and raccoons and shit now.
He's an AI, and he's human, and he has an Infinity Stone for a brain, and he can swing Thor's hammer, which means he's worthy.
Vision is kind of like a character a 12-year-old would come up with.
Well,
You know what I mean?
he's
you write your own awesome dude.
Yeah,
the Avengers.
he's everything, but I couldn't define him. He has no like one singular defining characteristic, and it shows him literally phasing into robots and bad guys, and then obliterating them like Dr. Manhattan. To me, it like all tension deflated like a someone poked a little hole in a balloon the second he shows up, because they literally
"Hello, I'm God."
They now have God on their side. You know, I know everything's going to be okay. But to be fair, the argument is, you know, everything's going to be okay going into these movies anyway, and that's why we go watch them.
Yeah.
We want to go see Indiana
Well,
Jones kick the bad guys' butts.
From a, you know, and people say, you know, Joss isn't about plot, but like that whole final gambit, and again, it also ultimately still boiled down to the big thing's gonna hit the thing. We got to stop the thing from doing the thing. But like that trap of like, if you kill Ultron, this thing is gonna fall and kill everybody. The Avengers are gonna be the people that end the world. I was like, that's awesome.
It was an awesome catch-22.
Yeah.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
It was like Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah.
It was, and that was another thing. I really wish they had come up with a more interesting solution to it than just him showing up with the helicarrier, and it's like, oh, okay, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah, a little bit of Deus Ex at the end there that was rather
I feel
unsatisfying.
like I remember hearing rumblings that in the early draft of the movie that Iron Man got killed, or like, you know, they actually killed off an Avenger.
Apparently that was the plan, but that's what's so weird about these movies. Everyone's talking about the contract negotiations, and they're going into pre-production, and they don't know if they're going to get a standalone Hulk movie. Thus, we don't know what to do with his story. And then you have him flying off in a jet at the end because they didn't have anything. They didn't know what to write. You got the Downey thing. They're setting him
Hulk's
up for
heading
this.
over to Coachella.
Yeah, they're setting Robert Downey Jr. up for this big fall where he was going to get his up-and-comings at the end of the story because he created Ultron, and then he was going to die, and his sins would be paid for at the end. But then they signed him on for another movie because that means another $1 billion. So let's change the story. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird way to make
that's
movies.
What and then it does. That's the stuff to me. And it's like, I can't even imagine the challenge of putting a movie like this together and having it be remotely good at all. So again, the fact that
it's a miracle.
The fact ultimately that I would give Ultron probably a B+. Like again, it's like against the odds that are set against that sort of thing being satisfying in the slightest because of all that crazy shit. Like that's a really impressive achievement.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a miracle. I give it 3.5 Captain America shields out of 5.
Oh boy.
I don't know. It's fun. I'll go see it again.
I give it 4 Hulks out of 5 Infinity Stone Thors.
I give it an Iron Man Mark 56 suit. Yes. I don't know. It's fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you should see it. Just drink a bunch of caffeine before, get like really
get ripped on sugar.
Yeah.
And
get amped.
Embrace your inner 12-year-old. Don't be a cynical old prick like me. And just go enjoy the movie.
Man, here's the real tragedy, though. We've talked about this a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, the Star Wars thing? Oh, my God.
Will and Jake Andrews and I
and Benji.
And Benji, you haven't seen it yet either, and Michael, my girlfriend Taylor. We brought a whole contingent of people into our pact.
Yeah.
We refused to watch the Star Wars trailer because we were waiting to see it on the big screen. And I blame Will for telling us, or leading us to believe, rather.
I was like, it's going to be on Avengers. I think I had heard that somewhere.
It was going to be tacked on Avengers. Look, it makes sense. It's a Disney movie.
Disney movie, yeah.
It's the next biggest thing to come out. Why wouldn't that trailer be in front of Avengers? So we waited 2 weeks to watch the Star Wars trailer. We've avoided as many spoilers as possible. And there was no friggin' trailer.
No trailer.
At the ArcLight Hollywood last night. So Tom ArcLight has another thing
Has some
coming.
explaining to do.
Yeah, he got some serious explaining to do.
It's fine.
No, I don't know.
This is probably the other reason I went into Avengers with a bad attitude. Is I was so pissed about that Star Wars trailer.
I was legitimately furious. You know, Jake.
And I got out, and you know what? And it's like, fuck it. I went out and I watched the trailer afterwards, and it wasn't even that damn good. I don't know what everyone was flipping out about. I was like, whatever.
Avengers was good. The trailer was good. You guys, you need to.
I said Avengers was good.
I said Avengers was
No,
good too.
no,
I gave it a B plus. Get on my jock, John.
I gave it 3 shields.
No, it's
3
just like-
shields out of 5.
There's this air of just like you're both like just been beaten down by life.
No. I'm just you're trying to
It's
evaluate all
this is what I was
aspects.
saying last night. It's all more plastic crap for the landfill. Like
Oh, here we
everyone
go.
is infatuated.
Here
with,
we go.
So everyone's infatuated with BB-8 and how cute he or she, the little droid, is. And here's what you're gonna get: you're gonna get 10 million BB-8 toys floating in the Pacific garbage,
Choking
patch.
off dolphins and whale
Choking dolphins.
blowholes.
When we all move on to the next cute whatever.
Well, I thought
And that's the
I
truth.
thought I was the cynical one, but I've been proven wrong.
No,
so
it's Will.
I'm a broken man.
It's definitely
Yeah,
Will.
I'm a
I still
broken
haven't
man.
ssee the Star Wars trailer, so I'm gonna have to go check that out today.
Okay, I'm gonna go show it to Des now. We have to wrap things up.
Yeah,
guys, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Thanks for joining us and rapping about Avengers 2. Thanks to our sponsor, Sherry's Berries. If anyone wants to follow you guys on Twitter,
Sherry's Berries gets 5 Captain America shields out of 5.
it gets 5 out of 5 Sherry's
Yeah.
Berries.
In fact, Avengers gets 3.5 Sherry's Berries out
Oh
of 5.
snap! Oh snap! Where can people follow you guys on the Twits and the Instagrams?
No one wants to follow me on
All right,
Twitter
don't,
after that.
yeah, if you want more of
Don't
Will's
follow Will at
cynical,
Will B.
the world
Campos
is
at Twitter.
ending rants, don't follow him at Will B. Campos on Twitter.
Yeah.
John, you're at Ruby Dog Movies.
Sure.
I'm at Des Dolly. Benji, thank you very much for producing this podcast. Thank you all for listening or watching.
Go check out Rocket Jump Film School.
Check out the film school. Don't forget to subscribe to all the various plethoras of content and materials we're churning out for you guys. So thanks again, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.